So let's talk about the other RP today. Let's call him Max, who came in with Lee. And unlike Lee, which integrated really well with the camp, Max always had a chip on his shoulder. One thing was little things like he did his hair every day, he came from a more well-to-do family, he spoke a bit more posh. But the main thing about him was he was more vocal about his criticism about doing work that was not RP related. And in context, you must understand, in our camp, there was no RP commander. The highest ranked person was a sergeant, which basically meant they had no power. And they were under a second lieutenant. But that guy is in storage. So what would happen usually, the storage commanders and the specialist commanders, when they needed people for especially manual labor, would call on any RP that was available. So sometimes there'll be official complaints, but most of them knew, if you can help, just help lah. Because being too vocal means you're putting yourself against storage, which is a bad idea because they had the most number of people in camp. And like I said, Max was a bit more vocal. He wasn't bullied, but that also meant that people were not as open to helping him naturally. Like usually, for example, if he needed a duty done, right? People would be like, how much are you offering? So that's how it went until the SARS period hit. When SARS hit, meaning the big disease before COVID, right? Suddenly there was all movement restrictions. Suddenly you had to take temperature all the time. Literally you step out of camp stand and you take temperature. One day it was his guard duty day and he just never turned up. So everybody tried to call him and all, no one could get hold of him. Well, finally someone did. But the person that picked up was not him. It was his dad. Alright? Now his dad said something very simple. There's a disease going about. I'm not letting my son out of the house. And as a person who works at the admin side, I can tell you, no commander or army officer wants to charge a son of Singapore. Unless the person is an asshole, I guess. Most of them, they want to work things out internally. So they try to give the dad a few days and they try to talk to him. Because this is basic AWOL. But that doesn't solve our problem in camp. We're down one person. So we go and we try calling people, no one's available. And so we go to the guardhouse and we say, hey, someone needs to take over his duty. And I think the person that was chosen was Jimmy. Jimmy obviously is not happy about this, but it was no choice. Now this goes on, I think, for a few days. And so that meant like a lot of people were cycling their duty a lot more. So a lot of people started to be pretty pissed off about Max. So over the weekend, when a person has time, anger, and a bit of creativity, this is what Lee did. He somehow found a bag of cement. And then he mixed it up. And then in front of the house on the grass patch, he made a mini tombstone about this big. And while it was wet, he took a stick and carved Max's name there, his birthday, and his death date, which was basically the start of the SARS period. After the weekend, I come in, I walk to the guardhouse to talk to my best friend Ian, and I see this tombstone, this literal tombstone. And I go, I remember saying this is not going to end well. Anyway, we're all standing there talking about it. And then, from the corner of our eye, a jeep drives in. And either it was two officers or the captain and another officer that they basically drove all the way to Max's place, talked to the father and said, look, we gave you enough leeway. If you don't want to let your son out of the house, it's okay, but the next two people that turn up is going to be the detention barracks people. So it's up to you. One is for sure because they already did everything by protocol. Alright, they tried to work with him. It's up to him now. He relented and they drove Max all the way back to camp. He got off the jeep, walked over sheepishly because he knew that he probably pissed a few people off. And then he comes in and he sees the tombstone, and I'll never forget, I was standing right there. He goes like, oh, come on, guys, you know. And I won't lie, part of me was also like, because I'm the guard duty clerk who plans all this, part of me was happy to see him suffer a bit. And then there's another part of me that went, how much was his dad? I don't know. After that, it's not like he was bullied very badly, but again, it reinforced the fact that usually with Max, if he wanted something done, he had to pay. So that was today's story. Next time we'll have just no better way to say a sad story about someone passing away in camp. If you're okay to hear about that, come back next time. Till next word.